Hello, my dear. How are you? Welcome back to our vocabulary lesson. Today we are working with countries, nationalities, and languages. In the previous video, we covered the pronunciation for a lot of countries and their nationalities and their respective corresponding languages. And now I want to practice a little bit. I want to practice this vocabulary a little bit with you, and also at the same time review some basic grammar concepts. For example, the subject pronouns. We use them every time we're talking, right? If I'm talking about myself, I use I. If I'm talking about a group of people, I say they. You already know that. Reviewing verb to be, you must never forget how to use verb to be, please. And also the possessive adjectives. Remember, the possessive adjectives, they are responsible for saying whose an object is. You know, who has the object or whom the object belongs to. Okay, that's the main idea for possessive adjectives. And I've got a sentence here that we are going to change the subject pronoun, and you will see that by changing subject pronouns in countries, we will create very many different sentences using this vocabulary. So let's get started with the first example. I, okay, so I come from, venho de, I come from Brazil. That's my country. I come from Brazil. Okay. I'm still talking about myself. I am, if I come from Brazil, I am Brazilian. Personal possessive adjective. The possessive adjective I'm going to use is my first language is Portuguese. That's exactly what I invite you to do right now. We are going to change at the same time the personal pronoun and the countries. We are starting with I and with Australia, and then we are moving to you and Brazil, he and China, and so on, because at the same time we are practicing some grammar structures all together with this new vocabulary, okay? So, repeat after me. I come from Brazil. I am Brazilian. My first language is Portuguese. This is my own example. Now, we're going to start it again, but I want you to start with I, of course, the subject, and with Australia. So, try to say it out loud. Eu venho da Austrália, eu sou australiano, minha primeira língua é inglês. Try to say that out loud. So if you want, pause this video, right? Because the answer will be, I come from Australia, I am Australian, my first language is English. Okay? Now, let's start with you. You and Brazil. Let's see how you do that. Say it out loud. You come from Brazil. You are Brazilian. Your first language is Portuguese. I just changed the subject. Guys, a lot of students, they confuse this a lot because sometimes they change this part and they forget changing this part and it becomes a mess. Be careful, because if you're talking about yourself, you need to use the correct pronouns all the time, okay? Okay, let's talk about he now. He as a subject pronoun. Okay, let's talk about the pronoun he. He comes. Of course you remember that. This is present simple. For present simple, he, she, it. Oops. He, she, it. Every time he, she, it appear in a sentence in the present simple, you need to change the verb. Okay, Elinho, don't forget that. So in this case, he, we are using the third one here, the third one here. He comes from China. He comes from China. He is Chinese. He is Chinese. What is the correct possessive adjective? His. his first language is, and in this case, Mandarin. His first language is Mandarin. So repeat again after me as fast as you can. He comes from China. He is Chinese. His first language is Mandarin. Good, very well. Now the pronoun to be used is she. And the country is Egypt. Off you go. Give it a try. Be careful with the pronunciation. Egypt, Egyptian, Arabic. Go on. If you haven't done it so far, pause the video. I'm going to do it. So, she comes, we still use as. She comes from Egypt. She is Egyptian. Her first language is Arabic. Arabic. We could even move this dot over here. Arabic. So, she comes from Egypt. She is Egyptian. Her first language is Arabic. Okay? Great. Now let's talk about it. The subject it. Let's say it's coming from France. Let's say it's a perfume, right? Let's say it's just a perfume. It continues with letter S because for he, she, it, in the simple present that must happen. It comes from France. It is French. Its first language. Oh, a perfume doesn't have a first language. So we have got to ignore this. But in the case of a perfume having a first language, we would use its, right? Because when you're talking about something that belongs to an object or to an animal, that's the correct possessive adjective. Okay? All right. So we know that perfumes don't talk. Let's go. We and Germany. Okay, go on, give it a try. If you haven't given it a try yet, pause the video. Here it comes. So, we comes or we come? Oh, come, because now I'm not talking about he, she, it anymore. Now it's we, has nothing to do with he, she, it. So, we come from Germany. We come from Germany. We are German. We are German. Our first language is German. Our. So again, we come from Germany. We are German. Our first language is German. Good, very well. Now, you again. Teacher, you wrote you twice? Yeah, and I did this on purpose because you really need to remember, keep in mind that you can be used in the singular, but it can also be used in the plural, okay, aluninho? Don't forget that. So now we're saying vocês, right? You. It's exactly the same. The verb to be that we use is the same. The possessive adjective is the same, but I just wanted to call your attention. And we are talking about Greece now, so have a go. If you haven't done this yet, so pause the video. I'm going to give you the answer. Here we have you come from Greece, you are Greek, your first language is Greek. Yeah? So again, you come from Greece, you are Greek, your first language is Greek. We can even make it into a song if it's more fun for you. Now, they are, that's the correct verb to be combination. And here we have their, that's the correct pronunciation. Their. So, they is coming, the pronoun they is coming along with Italy. So, have a try. If you said, they come from Italy, they are Italian, their first language is Italian, you were correct. So one more time, let's say it once more. They come from Italy, they are Italian, their first language is Italian. So they come from Italy, they are Italian, their first language is Italian. Okay? You have to challenge yourselves into speaking faster and faster. Okay, that's the only way of really developing your language, is by keeping track of how fast you're speaking. Not that you should punish yourself if you can't, but try. Okay, because the faster you speak, the more natural it sounds. Oh, Italy's gone. So we finished with they. We're starting all over again. So I'm going to erase the marks I've made, otherwise I'll get lost. I know what I'm like. I forget things quite easily. So now we're in Japan, right? Oh, let me take my plant out of here. So this is Japan. And we've got to start with I again. But now this is quite easy for you, right? It's a breeze, a piece of cake. So the answer is, I come from Japan. I am Japanese. My first language is Japanese. Quite simple. Poland with you. Try it, please. Pause the video. And there we go. So you come from Poland. You are Polish. Your first language is Polish. One more time. You come from Polish. You were Polish. Your first language is Polish. Quite fun. Russia. Now we're using the pronoun he with Russia. So he, again, here we go. We need to use s every time we change our subject into he, she, or it. So he comes from Russia. He's Russian. His first language is Russian. Okay, one more time, as fast as you can. He comes from Russia. He's Russian. His first language is Russian. Great. Now Switzerland, Suiza. We're using the pronoun she, so have a try. She comes from Switzerland. She is Swiss. Her first language is Swiss German. Okay, that's it. One more time. She comes from Switzerland. She's Swiss. Her first language is Swiss German. Swiss German. And the last country and nationality and language. Here we go with it. It, okay, let's skip it because it doesn't have first language. So let's go to we again. We come from Spain. We are Spanish. Our first language is Spanish. All right, good. So, my dear, here we come. We have come to the end of another class. I was just looking to check if I hadn't forgotten anything. There is another video about countries, nationalities, and languages, but now specifically about countries and their positions and their nationalities too. Okay, but not about languages anymore. So I'll see you in a while. Okay, bye for now.